deep, rooted like a tree, rooted in the mystery. Everything will change, nothing stays the same, and through it all my roots shall remain. Everything will change, nothing stays the same, and through it all my roots shall remain. Rooted like a tree, roots down deep, rooted like a tree, rooted in the mystery. Rooted like a tree, roots down deep, rooted like a tree, rooted in the mystery. Everything will change, nothing stays the same, and through it all my roots shall remain. Everything will change, nothing stays the same, and through it all my roots shall remain. Rooted like a tree, roots down deep, rooted like a tree, rooted in the mystery. Rooted like a tree, roots down deep, rooted like a tree, rooted in the mystery. Everything will change, nothing stays the same, and through it all my roots shall remain. Everything will change, nothing stays the same, and through it all my roots shall remain. Rooted like a tree, roots down deep, rooted like a tree, rooted in the mystery. Rooted like a tree, roots down deep, rooted like a tree, rooted in the mystery. Everything will change, nothing stays the same, and through it all my roots shall remain. Everything will change, nothing stays the same, and through it all my roots shall remain. Everything shall
Following the sound of wings under these cedar canopies, exhaling the trees, they ring their echo to a silver stream. I turn my eyes into windows to wildflowers, white and black holes. Turn my eyes into windows to wildflowers, white and black holes. Letting it fall together, I'm letting go for once forever. Following this map under other sky is open heart. Golden hair is spun into the lightning whisper to the stars.
Peace, peace. Hiyoko, greetings. Chiantamo, what's going on, everybody? Another Saturday with some more fire, right? We got more heat. Um, Peace to the panel, my beloved mother. Hello. We got Uncle Pa and we got Munt on here. We got Little Deer on here. So all watchers, all future watchers, I hope that your day is going well. And I hope that you do enjoy this show that we have to bring. So what I'm going to be talking about today is the Gullah Geechee or the Geechee in general. Geechee or Kizzi is the topic. And why? Well, we all heard that we are Geechee. We all heard that we have Geechee in our family. But today we hear that Geechee is supposed to be African, or African tribe or clan, correct me if I'm wrong, the Kizzi. Now, from my understanding, Geechee is indigenous. It's always been an indigenous American thing. So I'm going to do some reading today, being that I can't play any videos. But what we do read today will give you an idea of who the original Geechee are and how their was changed from being one that originated here to one of their grandfathers. And this is some of them, some of their grandfathers, which had come over from different lands. Now, if y'all want to free y'all mic, Pa, you can interject at any time, or if you want to turn it to a bill, you can open your mic and turn it to a bill too. But I am echoing, Pa, for some reason. I'm echoing on your side.
Oh,
I don't know if that.
well, I was gonna ask you, can I go ahead on and play the video from off of my end, if possible?
You have the computer up?
Yeah, I got my computer up. Let me go
All
ahead
right,
on.
go.
I'm a
Yeah, set
cause
it up.
I'm on the phone. Yeah, I'm on the phone right now, so I'm gonna get off the phone and I'm gonna log in on my laptop, and I should be able to play it from my laptop.
All right,
Whatever
perfect.
video, whatever video you want to send me, send it to my inbox on Facebook, and I can pull it up.
All right.
All right. I think I got the one that you bought me. I think you sent it to me yesterday. So let me go ahead on and get on the laptop and everything. So I'm about to leave out off the phone and clock in on the laptop.
All right, say less. When you come in, I got you. I'm gonna
All right.
drop it too. I'm gonna drop the video on you.
All right.
Bet. So, come back. Where's this? Let me add mom back. Until Aunt come back. This reading me for me, this can be fairly short. It's not a debate. Kizzy and Geechee sounding the same, or Kizzy being Geechee, it's cute. But it's not the fact of the matter. An important text that I ask that everyone currently watching, go get or pick up. And this is peace to everybody. Sprock, Shayla, how you doing? This is for everybody. Get the book, The Carolina Genesis, Beyond the Color Line. It's going to give you certain details of who these people are. Now, I'm going to allow the controls in and we're going to share the screen. Share Carolina Genesis. Let's see if we can get the screen up and add to stage. Perfect. So, and I have the book. I'm just pulling this up so you all can see it with your own eyes. Now it says that south of the Savannah River was the original seat of the High Log, Tahoe or Hogalugi slash Ogeechee. Now these are Ogeechee Indians, so the High Log Indians, where they were identified as Ufaliqui. Interesting, right? So the English couldn't pronounce Hogalugi or Talagwaliwi. So they called them the High Law, right? Now, with them calling them or considering them the High Law, their original name or another name for them was Ufaliqui. This is Spanish, but it sounds familiar, right? Now, Ufaliqui was an interior Wale town. Um, and being an interior Wale town, Ufaliqui was in the and on the Ogeechee. So what you all know as Eufaula is actually let me see if I can change this. What one knows as Eufaula is originally Ufaliqui. It's a Wale town. Now, at one point, these people were equated with the Shawnee, but you'll see this word Togora or Togoria. The Togora or the Togoria are the Talawaliwi or the Ogeechee. These are the same people that were in Cahokia when the Lenape raided. You will notice that the name of those people are Tally. So, what's being said here? Now, you don't find Kizzi when you're speaking about the indigenous because that's not who they were. These people were Geechee. Again, they were suggested to be Shawnee and a part of the Yamasee Confederates. There are many instances or examples, right? I'll see if I can find another example here. They let me go down on this page. Give me a second. Let's see if we can go down. They have a few examples. Here we read this one already. So the high log. But they also take this to Eufaula, like Eufaula, Alabama. And one time I actually showed one where Eufaula was on the east side of the Chattahoochee. What was beautiful about that was, let me see if I can find this again. Give me a second. What was beautiful about that was these people called themselves Hogalugi or Taligwaliwi, and they never stopped calling themselves Geechee Indian. But somehow, someone who claims to be African is now taking the name Geechee and turning it into Kizzi. How could that be when there were indigenous people that were considered Geechees or Ogeechee? Now it says that the Indians that originally inhabited the middle parts of the Carolinas and Georgia, the seaboard, were known as the Yamacraws or Yamasee, the Oconee, Ogeechee, and Shawanoki, or peoples of the, hold on, who is that? Please mute, or the people of the Glades. But research is so smooth that you have to find the original, right? That book was recently written. I'm going to show you where that quote comes from. That quote comes from a book that was actually written in 1819. So the quote that we've just read comes from an older book that was written in 1819. Here it goes here. Let me share this. And they want me to zoom in again. Okay, cool. We're going to zoom all the way in, slide this over, and then go down. So this is talking about the Muskogee migration. So the Muskogee and their Confederates crossed the Mississippi River and caught the halt at Baton Rouge, which is known to this day as the Red Stick or Club. So they're talking about the Muskogee coming from the west and to the east. Now, When they got to the east, there were people already there. Who were these people? The Indians that originally inhabited the middle parts of the Carolinas, and particularly South Carolina, and Georgia to the seaboard were known as the Yamacraws or Yamasi, the Oconees, the Ogeechis, and Shawanoki, or people of the glades. The Shawanokis are known as the Shawnees. The other Indians know them by no other name this day but Shawanoki. So, how could the Geechees originally be African when the Indians that originally inhabited those parts of those lands, the Yamasis, the Oconee, and the Ogeechee, we've already established or spoke about those original migrations of the Oconee out of South America and the different Yamasi groups and back into the land. But the Shawnee or the Shawanoki, the people of the Glades, the Ogeechee, were always in that land. The Yama and the Oconee speaking Yama were here so long that when the Muskogee got here, the Spanish beat them here and knew the Yama and them, which was how they were able to see that their languages were similar. So they were able to separate them from the Ogeechee and the Shawnee who understood each other's language from the beginning of time. So how did Geechee become African? How did Geechee become African? And or better yet, let's talk about the Muskogee migration real quick, and then I'll open it up. But when the Muskogee no longer finding enemies to fight, took peaceful possession of a country which they had just conquered. They established themselves on the rivers Coosa, Tallapoosa, Chattahoochee, Flint, Ocmulgee, Little and Great Oconee, and Ogeechee, and pushed their settlements as far as the river Savannah in Georgia, where the city of Augusta is now built. So at that time, the Ogeechee were already at war with the Muskogee, which is why, and after the Muskogee took possession of the land, their language becomes the classification for all of the languages in the land. So now the culture is already starting to become watered down. So, of course, by the 1800s, because this war took place in the 1500s. So now by the 1800s, when they are shipping African men in, and grandma might get with an African man who may be Kizzi. Your story is now that the Geechees are the Kizzi and the Geechees are African. No, you are admixed. You're the one with the admixture, not everyone. But we know that the Geechees, the Ogeechee, right? We know that the Geechees are originally American. It's only until present day or modern day studies that they become Africans. Um, Let me drop the controls. Pa, if you want to share, you could share. Mike, what you were saying, cuz?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, so like when it was earlier, just kind of like just about a minute ago, you just referenced it. How could the Ogeechee be African? And I was like, and they don't they try to compare that to Kizzy, right? I
Right.
said, but I was gonna say, but what about those indigenous people who even took the name Kizzy?
It still wouldn't
Like,
be
is that
Geechee.
that's an Ogeechee? That's an
Because
Ogeechee
if
term,
you
right?
say it again,
I said that would be a Geechee term, right, or a
you breaking
name.
up. Say it again.
I said that would be a Geechee name or a term, right?
Hold on, what was that? Yo,
I said that would be a Geechee
I
name
don't
or a
know. You
term,
breaking
right?
up. Yeah, you breaking up bad, boy. So I
I
don't know
said
what
that
to
would
tell
be
you,
a
cuz
Geechee name or yeah, you can't hear me.
yeah, I can't hear you. He definitely breaking up. So I'll say this much. Even if there are Geechees who took on the Kizzy name, it doesn't make Kizzy Geechee. Being Geechee or Ogeechee to Ogeechee, right? It says Kizzy is a Geechee name. Incorrect. Kizzy is actually an African group of people. It's what Kunta named his daughter Kizzy in roots, right? So it's comes from over there. I actually think it's Mandy or Mandinka is one or the other. It says he said it would be a Geechee name return. No, it wouldn't. That's what they're trying to do. They have Geechee grandmothers who married Kizzy men and are now saying Geechee and Kizzy are the same word. That's not the fact of the matter. One would have to tell you what Kizzy mean, and once we explain what Geechee mean, they don't mean the same. Geechee literally, or the Ogeechee or Hogalugi literally means the people of the Pine Glades. Where are the Pine Glades over there? And those people are named Kizzy. So that thought, right? Or that is what made people say, oh no, Gullah Geechee is Angola and Kizzy. Gullah Kizzy is Gullah Geechee. It's BS. When we have the records that state that the original inhabitants were the Ogeechee by name. We're not talking about by sound alike. We're not talking about um hold on, let me see if I can find this real quick. Because one has to ask themselves, right? Before the Kizzy were brought to the Americas, why is the Ogeechee already on the maps? Before the Kizzy came to America, why were there already a people at war with the Lenape named Talogili? This all of this thought, right? This is the thought that one must have to break the code, or to simply crack these codes. How did this happen? How did the Geechee identity become African? Who allowed it to happen? They allowed it to happen. But Gullah is Gola. It's bullshit. When you have the Wali that live in the same land, same area, and did the same thing, had the same exact lifestyle. But then they get admixed with a small group of Africans, and all of a sudden the culture belongs to the African. I think not. I think not. Let's make this make sense. Let's make this make sense. We're going to make this make sense, right? So we're looking at the Muskogee, and this is in the 1500s. The Muskogee, no longer finding enemies to fight, took peaceful possession of a country which they had just conquered. They established themselves on the river Coosa, an indigenous word, Tallapoosa, indigenous, Chattahoochee, indigenous, the Flint, the Okmulgee, indigenous, Oconee, indigenous, Ogeechee, African? Of course not. Of course not. So now facts, cuz they wanna denounce their actual status. So you have the Ogeechee. But then, fuck it, who lived in that area? So now the term is given to coastal communities or nigger or Negro or black or nigger coastal communities in the southeastern United States from the Ogeechee River in Georgia. Now, the name is perhaps from Muskogee and could mean the river of the Uchis, referring to a neighboring people. Listen to what's going on. Listen to what's going on. So you have Geechee. The term is being pushed on dark-skinned people in the southeast, and they live on the Ogeechee and in the same areas as the Ogeechee. They have the same culture as the Ogeechee, but they say the word means Kizzi. It makes no sense. When our grandmas and our grandpas and our uncles were saying we are Geechee Indian, and then you say, well, that don't make sense. There's no such thing as no Geechee Indian. And then you find in the 1800s that what? The Indians that originally inhabited from the middle parts of the Carolinas, particularly South Carolina and Georgia to the seaboard, were known as the Yamacraws or Yamasee, Oconees, Ogeechee, or Shawanoki, people of the Glade. How many times or Shawnee place hotter heat, the direction of the sun, the place where the heat is basically speaking on the south, right? The Lenape considered the whole south to be Shawnee. The Ogeechee people, or the Hogalugi, the Tigora, by so many names, the Tigora, a word that you can find on Yamasee war maps, they were a part of a larger confederacy known as the Ibaha. They were a part of a larger confederacy known as the Ibaha. And this goes overlooked a lot of times. This goes overlooked. But we can't allow it to go overlooked. So the facts of the matter, you can't find Kizzi and Geechee being equated with each other because they're not the same. It's just some nigga that tried to bring this together in order to tie in their African traits, which you can't do that when you're speaking to everybody. When you speak on your bloodline, peace, what's going on, Ka? When you speak on your bloodline, you speak on your bloodline. You cannot say that, oh, the Gullah are, it's like this girl. Me and Reem had this conversation. We're having this conversation with this girl who on the islands or whatever. You know, cuz still live out there. And she say the Geechee's not Indian. My mama Geechee, she got 1% Indian blood, and I got 0. And I'm like, hold on, you know, hat shades. I'm in the zone now. She says her mother has 1% indigenous blood, and she has 0. Cuz say, damn, with your battery died. What happened to your ancestors that after one generation, in their tests, it just don't show up in you no more? That should be telling you something. That takes us back to the blood quantum shit. How can my grandmother be 100% of this? And she got a daughter, but her daughter 50% of her. And now she got a daughter, and her daughter is 50% of her, so she's 25%. And she got a daughter, so eventually according to Europeans, on paper, the bloodline is going to be gone in about 5 generations. This is the game. But they go to these people and tell them to give you an African story. So you don't say, wait, Grandma Geechee Indian, and we in 2025. We quoted a book from 2012 that was quoting a book from 1819. And this man is he's mixed breed. He's indigenous because he's from Hart County. He's from where my grandma from. He's from Hart, Georgia. Elbert, Hart, Madison, Franklin, all that was originally the same county. Tougaloo. So, or and Jordan, right? And Chahuga. So all of these different, right? He's from there, and this is what he's documented during the war. That the Ogeechee are the original inhabitants. And then he spoke again and say, well, the Yamasee were the first to inhabit East Florida. If not, then it was the Shawanoki or the Ogeechee. But the Yamasee settled before the Muskogee. So he already knew something because it was in his blood. He was getting these stories, and then he's writing these letters to other people. Ironically enough, I'm showing. Well, I'm showing on the screen. I could pull it back up. The laptop was down. Um, this that I showed you all on the screen. This quote from 1819 by Thomas Woodward is somewhere near, because this is the book. I have it right here. What page is this? This is 18. Okay. So this book is actually filled with not only his letters, but letters from other people that he was doing business with. So this letter that I'm going to share back to the screen. Um, let me see. Let me see if I can add the controls back. This letter that I'm going to add back to the screen is right here. And there's a few, I'll read some things that I have highlighted in this book. And I'll just pull them up. Let me see if I can pull them up so y'all can also view them. But again, he had the stories and he did some travel. So he also speaks about the Muskogee or the Musqua that never left the West, and there were even some in California. Let me see if I can pull this up again. Reminiscence. What?
All right, nephew. You want me to play that video?
Go ahead. You got it? No, it's the
Yeah, I got
one
it.
with Quet. I think it's the video.
Yeah,
The one with Quet talking.
yeah, that's the one I got. Yeah, that's the one I got. That's the one I got
Perfect.
from you.
Perfect.
All right.
Right. All
All
right.
right.
Go ahead. Let me drop this. Perfect. Gotta do the bird, man. You feel me? Cause she admits some things, man. It's my Gullah Geechee video. Let me see if I can drop it in the comments. I
I'm about
think
to
this
play
could
it.
be it right here. There you go. I dropped it in the comments too. Let's see. All right, I got you. Hold on, I'm adding it now. There we go. Let's see what we got. Yeah. Uh, huh. Why is it dropping off? Hold on. Let me see how this looking. All right. For some reason I can't hear it. Uh, I can't hear you. So let me drop that. Let me remove that. I can't hear the video for some odd reason. I'm telling you, I'll just get a new laptop next week, right? Weekly pay, you can do shit like that. So I'll just get a new laptop next week. Um, as far as this book, as far as Woodward's book, let's see. As far as Woodward's book, other things he talks about in this book are like the Muskogee migration. So we're gonna drop this. We'll go to page 13. See if we can get to 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, do one page view. All right, perfect. So we'll do that. This is what we'll do from here. So here he's talking about Alabama. So the Alabamas differ from the Musqueam or Muskogee, as do the Chickasaws from the Choctaw, but were what the Indians call the same fireside people. Now, he considers the Creek or the Muskogee as Western, right? They says the it says there was much of their dialect that differed from that of the Common Creek or Musqueam, as the Western Indians used to call them, and no doubt once they were different tribes. So as far as the Musqueam in the West, this is what they were known as, the original Muskogean people, right? Um, the Chickasaw and Choctaw, when they separated, or when they seen that they became two separate groups of people, let me bring this back up, add to stage. When it seems that they were two groups of people, in reality, they were one. Now, the Alabama and the Creek actually had a war. The original Alabama people and the Creeks had a war. And what happened is the Creeks began to incorporate the different Alabama groups into their tribes. Um, excuse me, once Cortez conquered Mexico, um, is when the Muskogee began to migrate out of Mexico into the southeast. You can find this also on page 16 through 19. If I'm not mistaken, this is one in Woodward's letters. In this place right here, on this letter is where he's talking about, my bad, is where he's talking about the Geechee being the original Indians. That's page 18. Page 19, he talks about the clans and how they were broken into the clan. Now, what he also mentions, I think this is on page one, this is on page 100. Let me find. Uh, he talks about the Indian Negroes. Let's see what he says about the Indian. 108. Let's see. Perfect. 108. He talks about the Indian. And here we go. So he says, but let me here remark one thing about Negroes, particularly Negroes are raised in slaveholding states or who were raised in the slaveholding states of the United States, right? Now, he talks about Indian Negroes, little down. He says, Indian Negroes generally they speak multiple languages. Not only did they speak Shawnee, but they understood Yuchi too. So when he was saying that he had Negroes who understood the languages, Indians that understood the languages, he was talking about these Negroes who knew their families person for person, generation for generation. He was one of the people that kept them in holding, or what we consider slavery. Right? Now, he also mentioned that there was a Pali Perryman who was known as the Chiha Miku Pali. But if you read the page before running into that sentence, if you read the beginning of the sentence, explain why she was considered to be a Negro. See, another and the most remarkable Negro that I have known in my time. Let me go down so you all can see it. That I have known in my time was Polly Perryman, by many known as Chiha Miku Polly. This is a woman he's considering to be a Negro, but her name is Polly Perryman, and she's the big mama of a tribe. But remember, she's a Negro. This is the game. So
Hey,
at this
can you hear me?
time that he's telling, go ahead, cuz, talk to me.
Hey, clip that and send that to me. That right there.
Say less.
All right.
I got you. Say less.
Hey,
But talk to me. Free mic.
where
Y'all can open up. I'm
where
booling.
where is Polly Perryman from?
She was from, let's see where he had her. Let's read through this. Where was he? Okay, he's talking about the Tuskegee while I'm sketching off a little Negro history. I mentioned one or two others. I buried Bernard's old kitty near Tuskegee at a time when Amy, her youngest daughter, was 9. Her youngest daughter of 9 children, and we had grandchildren. Okay, so youngest daughter of 9 had grandchildren. So that's around the time we buried her. Okay, cool. Old Kitty was an African by and could give no account of her age, but she was a very old woman, at least to live since Noah's time. So he's talking about somebody he know named Noah. Now, another and most remarkable Negro that I have known in my time was Polly Perryman, by many known as Chiha Miku Polly. She was raised by an English family in Nassau. Uh-oh, so she was from the Bahamas. Interesting. Interesting.
Hey,
She
clip that
was
and
sold
send that.
to one
Clip
of
that
Jess
and send that.
Clark's and taking the Pensacola. I got you. Hold on. She was taking the Pensacola. Clark sold her to an old Indian countryman by the name of Theophilus Perryman, who was the father of the old half-breed Jim Perryman. Uh-oh, they from Oakcha. And you know where that's at. That's up. There we go. On the Chattahoochee, Fort Gaines. Now remember, how many times have I told people that the Okta or the Ochai were originally from the east side of the Chattahoochee and not from the north? How many times have I said that? When we talking about Yaha Tuscanoogie, I say, bro, those people originally from Fort Gaines. They moved up to the north and came back down. When they moved up to the north and came back down, that was their forced removal by the Muskogee. Hint, hint. This is why Muskogee was burnt down. Those people was being chased. Hint, hint. So what we're talking about is a Negro, right? This is what they call her, a Negro. But we're talking about a woman who was known as the Chiha Mika, who was taken and enslaved, sold as a Negro to another man whose last name was Perryman. She becomes Polly Perryman, but everybody still know her by her Indian as her indigenous self. This is an example of what was going on with the original Geechee people. I know it makes sense to y'all. It has to.
It definitely
In
do. What's your name?
this
Kunta
story,
Kinte. What's your name? Kunta Kinte. What's your name? Kunta Kinte. Toby.
come on, simple. All of our families, if you're watching, all of our families have experienced disenfranchisement in some form, in some way. We're looking at it in broad day. We're looking at it in broad day. Another and the most remarkable Negro that I have known in my time was Polly Perryman, by many known as Chiha Miku Polly. That was an indigenous woman. And she was taken to Nassau on the island of New Province, is what it said. Then she was taken to Mobile. But then she was sold to a man in Pensacola, and his family originally from Fort Gaines. But then she was sold again to a McGilvery and then taken to the Coosa River. And then, you see what I'm, do you see the game? Mm, mm, mm. So now it makes sense. Alexander McGilvery, this is the woman that fucking raised him. Remember, his daddy's a fucking European. Excuse me, is a European. His daddy left when the war kicked off and left his pregnant indigenous wives here. And they gave birth to children who eventually signed treaties during the Trail of Tears. You can't tell me I'm wrong. This shit makes so much sense now. We going outside of the original bill. It makes so much sense. She died in 1846. She was 113 years old. So, Geechee or Kizzi, how much proof do you need to see, to understand that the original people here were considered Geechees already? Ufalik. Ufaliqui is literally a Wale town. Anybody want to debate it? I'll pull up a map. But the Ufaliqui were called Ogeechee, but Ufaliqui are the Eufaula. And Eufaula and Apala and Iba'a are all the same word. Eufaula, Apala'a, and Iba'a, Igua'a, Wali, all are the same union. And the most southern interior part of this union was known as the Tagora, or the Taligwaliwi, or the Ogeechee. Let me show you this book, Yamasi Indians, Florida to South Carolina. Let me show y'all this book, so I can make it make sense, right? I can make it make sense. We'll go full screen. Will they allow us to I don't know if they're gonna allow me to zoom in. Let's see. It has to be another photo of the book. Let's see. Find a photo of this book. Matter of fact, should be on Amazon. Let's see.
Pop trying to tap in.
He dropped. Oh, hold on. I'm letting you back. There you go.
Yeah. Was you able to
So
hear the
real
video?
quick,
Was y'all able to hear the
nah,
video?
we couldn't hear it.
Well,
Nah,
thank
we
goodness
wouldn't be
put the
able.
link
We
in.
weren't able to hear it.
All right.
Yeah, I dropped the link.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
And look, what most people didn't forget is, or didn't hear, that she had Meku in her name to say she a female.
Right. Facts. I said facts. And I'm like, this is a female leader. This is a woman leader
Right.
that
She's
they
a chief.
called the
Yeah.
Negro and went to, thank you. She's a chief. And they just went to selling her everywhere now. She's a Negro, selling her here, there, here, there, here, there. And now you think she's confused, but the people still knew who she was.
Nephew, this is why I always
The
say,
people still know who she
let me put
was.
the let me put the video on. All right, you can see me. This is why I say it's a cop out when people say, "Oh, because of slavery, people didn't know who they was." I'm like, that's a lie because if it was slavery, nobody don't have amnesia of who they are.
Yeah.
There's no ass whipping in the world that'll make a nigga forget who the fuck they is. Now, look what happened with Rodney King. How many policemen beat Rodney King with a billy club and they bust them all in the head? Did he not know that he was still Rodney King after they whipped his ass? So because somebody made you a slave, that don't mean you forget who the fuck you are. There ain't no ass whipping in the world that can make you have
Facts.
amnesia. None. And yet she still knew that she was a Miku. And the people that knew her knew that she was a Miku.
Facts. Actual facts.
So now we've been saying that the Gullah Geechee, well, the Geechee has always been Indian because they named the river Ugeechee. Ugeechee.
Facts. Facts.
Why you don't have no Geechee River over there in Africa? But
Uh-oh.
like I'm saying,
I might be dropping too much science.
yeah, because they dropped you off the screen. They dropped us off.
Yeah. All
But
right,
that's not
I'm
going
back.
to.
All right, we back.
They just only show the book on the screen. Oh, there we go. Okay. But yeah, that's what that's dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Yo, and you got people that want to argue down and everything. And it's like, dude, you talking to real tribal, traditional people that's telling you we're out of book. So now, since you didn't want to believe the words of us, now we got a book that says, oh wow, them motherfuckers was right.
Hmm.
In the words of David Chappelle, gotcha, bitch.
Hold on, let me show this. Let me show this right here. So this is the book, The Yamasee Indians, Florida to South Carolina.
Well,
I'm gonna ask this
so
question again. I'm gonna ask this question again. Before there was a Kizzi in the Americas, the Geechee already is here. The river Geechee. This is somebody else speaking, so they put Geechee. But you see that word Tahogualians? I wonder who that is. I wonder if the
right.
Wale only existed on the coast. I
No,
wonder if the Gullah hint hint. I wonder if the Gullah existed
was only on the coast.
before the Angola people were brought to the Americas. Because I'm gonna tell you something. There's a way I can that. I'd rather me debate. I'm not going to debate you, so I'm just going to simply do what I'm going to teach you.
Did,
Tagora,
did,
Tahaguala, Talagualias, Geechee. Listen to what I'm telling you. They tell you Gullah Geechee comes from Angola Kizzi. But on this map, you're literally looking at Tahogualias, Geechee. Gualias, Geechee, Guala Geechee. You're literally looking at it on a map from the 1700s. But somebody's convinced you that the Gullah Geechee are Africans. Ain't this something? This is not something?
And the old song they used to say,
Let me
"Ain't
take my
that a
good
bitch?"
medicine.
How the song
Hey,
say, "Ain't that a
hey, what
bitch?"
he say? Listen, there's no way you can tell me the Gullah Geechee are Africans when we can prove they're originally Americans from the start.
Right.
Say if my grandma's an indigenous American and she married a man that's Kizzi, Mandy, Yoruba, wherever he's from in the land of Africa. That don't mean that she's that.
Right.
So if I'm born and I'm her and him, that don't mean that because I'm her, that mean that she's him. That's stupid. That's how these
Right.
crackers played with the culture.
Right.
That's how they played with the culture. They had your daddy, your granddaddy mixed with your grandma, thinking they was gonna make a weaker child physically when they
And
made a
yet they
more
made a stronger
superior
child.
child physically, but they
Right.
played with your mind. So y'all don't have the brain or the mental capacity to sit there and actually put everything together and make it whole again because you're African and African, that means to divide. Tell me I'm wrong. So
And,
your
and
brain
guess
is
what?
divided amongst this
And guess
shit.
what?
My
And
bad.
guess what,
Go
nephew?
ahead.
Guess
Go
what?
ahead.
Now, you know the situation that happened last year, right? And you know when Queen Quet had to call Miku Seku, right?
Right.
Why I just got a link yesterday that the Europeans and them trying to get Saint Helena again after they
Yeah.
was told. But once again, she keep on saying, the people keep on saying that they're Africans. Well, if you Africans, you don't have no right to the land. Uh-oh.
What I
Oh,
said. That's what I
uh-oh.
said.
She watch this.
Uh-oh.
And
Africans ain't got
she
no
has
status in
no
America.
she has all birthright, but no real claim for the simple fact she keep claiming her granddaddy bloodline. On that
Right.
video, right on this video, right here, I just put in the comments, right
She
there.
said her
You
mama
go
in there
watch
with
that
this
video. She
don't need.
says her mother's mother is a Native American. That's how
Which
she knew about pottery and basket weaving. But
which
niggas
is
consider basket weaving a part of Gullah Geechee culture. Bullshit. It's Tahoe Guale weave. It's Wale and Hogalugi. How the people of the pine? What are we? What are we not understanding? Us on the podcast know you all have to do this work and bring it together for your families. It's the only way to truly liberate your family. Listen to what
what
Paul telling you. Go ahead,
what the,
I'm all
what
in.
the,
I'm all in.
what the motherfucker said on the movies, motherfucker didn't get it. He said the day of the Geechee is gone, boy. He was trying to say the day of the Indians, not the day of the Africans, because the Africans
The
didn't have
day
rights
of
to the land. It was the
right.
Indians that had rights to the land.
Thank you.
Whoa,
Thank you.
whoa,
Thank
whoa.
you. Come on now. So if it's the
Hollywood,
Indians that
Hollywood
have the
told
right
you.
to the land, it's the Indians that have the right to the land. You niggas live on Sapelo Island. But Sapelo sounds, Sapelo, Spala. That's what Gullah Geechee when it to go Geechee. It's literally indigenous. It's the pathway of the Ogeechee River. And yourself out. But all of this can be given back to the original people if you just listen to who your grandma said she was. Your grandma told you she was a Geechee Indian. You said Geechee Indians don't exist, but the Indians that originally inhabited the middle parts of the Carolinas, particularly South Carolina and Georgia to the seaboard, were known as the Yamacraws or Yamasis, the Oconees, the Ogeechee, and the Shawanoki or people of the Glades. How your grandma read it? Your grandma ain't need to read it. She knew it before you. She knew it before you. She knew it before you. Hiyoko, and greetings to all the are still with us. When grandma said she was a Geechee Indian, When grandma was saying Tahoe Gully or Gullah, it should have made sense. I want to show you something about this beautiful map. See, in this beautiful map, it's going to show you that Coweta and Oconee were on the Altamaha River. At this particular time, Altamaha, as the Spanish called it, or Latama, was Yamasee territory. This was what was given to the Yama. However, Coweta and Oconee, they ended up coming down on these people and truly dividing the land into what became a Muskogean and a so-called Siouan language barrier. So please play this video back because I want to get on call with Munt and get this stuff going for July. If you all know me and you know us and you want to come in July, please hit me up. We would love to have your family. No individuals, right? No individual males, no individual women. Bring your family. Bring your family. Bring a cousin. It could be anybody that's bloodline tied to you. Before
Now,
we go, anybody have anything to touch on? Go ahead, talk to me.
the name of that movie when he said the day of the Geechee is gone is called A Soldier's Story. That's the name of it.
It's called what?
The name of the story is called A Soldier's Story. When he said the day of the Geechee is gone.
A soldier story.
Yeah, A Soldier's Story. That's when he said that, and they got the clip on YouTube that's put in the soldier story. A Soldier Story. That's the name of it. A Soldier Story. The day of the Geechee is gone. That's what he was speaking about. He was talking about.
I'm gonna check that when we get off because somebody just did a review of the Blue Fire and they put the review up on YouTube. So I'm about to go check that out too.
What? That was up.
Yeah, I'm about to go check it out. I got to, man. So we got my attention. I just hope this video go up. I need everybody to share this video with at least one person, because we've taken the name Wale back. It's time to take the name Geechee back, and it's time to rebuild this union properly outside of the BS.
Right.
The only way to do it is to listen to our elders and document it. Because I'll tell you this much. If your family are Geechee Indians, you got way more claim to the Southeast than anybody that's Muskogee.
For sure.
Then I'm going to leave it at that. Just calling yourself a Geechee. Come on, we breaking this the simple stuff. Just calling yourself a Geechee gives you more rights to this land than anybody.
Right, but y'all thought y'all was African.
And that's your birthright. You thought you was an African.
Right, because you look like a Negro. That's why they did it. That's why they say that the Yamasee look like a Negro. That's why they had to say the day of the Geechee is gone. It was never gone. It was never gone. You only adopted your grandfather's or your father's way of being African. There ain't nothing wrong with that, but your mama way is Geechee. That's why they always don't go play with a Geechee woman. You never heard that before?
Definitely heard of that.
Right.
And if anyone who comes across this video should be excited. Or that first hour, because the Geechee is always tied into some African shit. Shouldn't it be good or shouldn't it feel good to hear that, damn, I just read from over 200 years ago that the Geechees were the original Indians. This before dolls rolls. This before all that pretty shit. This is only 20 years. In fact, this was the beginning of the 1800s. Let's see what this says. It says What do you mean by all? You gave me a lot of tribal people. I'll tell you this much. When we sum this up, the Shawnee, the original Alabama, the Eufaula, the Appalachie, the Wally, and the Ogeechee, the Gila B, right? The Gila B, Hali Wali. Those are Wali. Those are the original Americans. The Yama are cousins to the original Americans. As a woman went down into South America and became a part of a union, and that union came up out of South America and
Mm-hmm.
came here.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Yama story.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the Oconee. The Oconee are a part of the Timucua Confederacy. They came from South America, but they traveled up the islands. The Coshita are no different than the Coweta and the Coosa, as they all migrated in different waves out of Mexico after they lost the war to De Soto. So I hope I touched every name in there, hopefully. But if I didn't, that's how the majority of that go. So a lot of those people were not in the Southeast until that clash, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because as the Geechee say, the Gullah Geechee corridor, the Mississippi was a corridor. There was a deal done that people couldn't come across the East that way for a specific reason, right? A lot of people was eating babies. It's fucking crazy. Um, they was eating children. So what they was doing, smashing the children against the poles and creating
Yeah,
red sticks or some shit. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
The
That's how everybody look
Kushita,
at it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And
Kushita, Kawita, all of them, they was evil.
yeah, and I'm so glad that we were able to break down the information because due to certain people that want to be assholes and everything, we just had to go ahead on and unfold it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and that's another thing. Most people in them is saying Natchez, but actually that's not the way to say it. It's actually Natacotez. That's the name. That's the name. Everybody say
The
Natchez, but
Nagadushi. Yeah.
ah, that's the name of it, you know. But y'all dealing with some y'all don't know y'all dealing with some real southeastern traditionalists, man. You know, and you never heard nobody else on any other platform break down this information like my nephew did. Nobody, nobody. Well, he brought it to the public. I'll put it like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
basically, I'm just showing them that they can find this in public. Because
Right.
I'm
In
not the
public.
first. I'm nowhere near the first, and I'm just, as Unc say, just one of them young elders, right? Um, but
Indeed.
since his father was Shawnee, his mother was Creek. That's the thing, right? When it comes to being Creek, you know that's an English word, right? Um, and that confederacy, that Creek Confederacy, I don't really want to use the laptop because it'd be glitching. So I'm gonna go off the dome. The Creek Confederacy or the Musqueam was a confederacy before they left West. But when they
Mm-hmm.
left the West, they started picking up different groups. So you
Mm-hmm.
could say, well, my people are Okcha, or my people are originally from Talaposa, or the river that they call Coosa. But you got to remember, those people became a part of the Confederacy because low key they was getting their ass whooped. Let's just keep it all the way. That's how the Creek Confederacy grew so large after they lost the war to Cortez. Peace, Unc. What's going on with you? All well over here. So that's right. So and then the Shawnee literally just means people of the South or the people that dwell where moderate heat is. that's somebody else speaking. You see what I'm saying? That's
Right.
somebody else speaking. And then Creek is English, so that's somebody else speaking. So in
Right.
reality, what were they? How did they become Shawnee and Creek? Those are questions that we should ask.
Right, because Shawnee is a direction.
Facts. It's literally a direction. It means south. Literally, it's a direction. So I'm Shawnee. So you Southern. Yeah.
And that
Who
could
are
be
your
anywhere.
people?
And that could be anywhere.
That can be anywhere. That can be it. Come on. Because the Lenape map has from Texas all the way to what? DC. All of that shit is from
Yeah,
Texas. That
past
shit go like
DC.
this. It go like this. And it go all the way up because they were so far north. They considered everything in the South. That's the crazy part. And I'll tell you this. It says people of the South win. That's one possibility. But again, it's speaking on the heat. Because if you look at the word literally means summer. It's the same word as the word for summer.
Right.
Look it up. So when she says, I reach out my hand to feel the four winds that turn the wheel, the light meeting in my middle, between two worlds, the battle grows. She's talking about the blue flame from the south. Remember, the
Fire. The fire.
Muskogee denied, thank you, the Muskogee denied the blue fire from the south. And south in their language is what? Wale. So we're explaining is there's a certain level of information. Look, very informative. There's a certain level of information that only comes by way of certain fires.
Right.
And in the South, they denied the fire, so they could never understand what was going on. So they just gave a general classification for the people. That's the Shawnee. They down there, that's them. We not gonna deal with that.
Right.
Simple. Until it was time for war. Salute, brother, salute. And then when it was time for war, you get the breakup or the divisions of the names now because they started to divide the people on what they wanted to call them type shit.
Mm-hmm.
So it all makes sense. But all of this literally happened in the 1500s.
Right.
Literally. When the Spanish pulled up on the Wale, and when the Wale uprising happened, and I think it was like 1570, the one from 1570, the Wale already knew the language of the Muskogee. The Muskogee were already there for about 30 to 40 years. The
Right.
Yamacraw are no one but the Yama. They are the Yama, but they are Yama that lived in a specific place. So the
Right.
Yamacraws and the Yamasis, the Yamacraws and the Tama, the Yamacraws and the Altamaha are all the same people.
Right.
That's the fact. The difference is you have to look at the suffix craw. Who were they dealing with in that union? Could it be Yama Chira? Could it be Yama Chikora? But there had to be a union, hint, hint, that got these
Whatever.
people together and they settled in
Right.
a certain place. So, that's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. It's, it's one of the two, right? So you pick the best option, what you think it is, and you rock with it, right?
Make sure
Yeah,
you're right
man.
with it.
Make sure you're right though. Yeah, make sure you're right though. So do your research after you do choose. Hey, this blade that
I already said
Iron Bear made for me, man,
Yeah.
I've been cutting up everything. I ate 4 oranges yesterday for no reason. For no reason.
Watch the one he make for me, nephew.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
said you can't
you
even
already get it done.
he said you can't even much touch the blade. Is that such to the cut?
Man,
That's so
is it? Listen, I'm terrified to touch this blade. I did some.
Yeah.
Look how sharp that cut is, though.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I did some wild shit. I definitely licked the blade, though. I'll do it again. But if I got, hey, I'm a cat. You know.
Yeah. We
I
got
know my way
nine
around the
lives.
coochie.
We got 9 lives.
you, you feel me? I know my way around the coochie. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I mean that by way of language, right?
And look, and it's so funny
So
that we said it while old girl came out with a song saying hoochie coochie, hoochie coochie.
blew my mind. Wet cat.
I said,
Some
look at
wet
that.
fucking cat.
I said, they don't even much understand what she's saying. They think it's something nasty.
Hey,
That's the
I could
old
dig
folks.
it.
That's the old men that say, I'm going down to the watering hole to pay for the hoochie coochie.
Yo, hoochie
Yeah.
coochie. And listen,
Somebody said they wouldn't touch that cat.
I ain't gonna lie, boy. Listen, anybody know like I know, them alley cats, they different, boy. Them what you need. Them what you
Yeah,
need, boy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Look, look.
Mm-hmm.
Every cat you get is recyclable. Yes,
Damn,
indeed.
though the family so big.
Huh, bruh?
Insane. We could do that. That's our family. And we could talk shit. Y'all
One
can't do
alley
that.
cat is another. Look, one alley cat is another cat pet. Oh,
Listen,
shit. But she's not a bad looking chick though.
it's
When she
that
take all that
medicine.
wig and stuff off, she's not a bad looking chick.
Man, she put them paws on Reese. Reese wouldn't know what to do, man. Cause to sell his house. Hey Reese, she'll make you sell the house, boy. But yeah, though, so I'm finna hit y'all on the phone. That was a good little short free bill.
Yeah.
Please replay this video so you all can get the references that I gave out. And you can take it to your family and make sure again, document this shit, bro. Just call Auntie. Hey, Auntie, you ever heard of the Geechees? Yeah, woot the woot the woot. You ever heard that the Geechee was Indians? Yeah, woot the woot the woot. That's our family. That simple shit right there is more than enough for me.
But you know what,
It
nephew?
should be more than enough for you, and I ain't even your family. Talk to me, huh?
You know what, nephew? I remember when this was like in 2012 and 2011 when cousin Quincy and I was doing the bill on it, and the people
You
in them
break it up,
said,
Paul.
"Oh, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Where you
Can you
at?
hear me?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah." So what wound up happening is in 2012 when Quincy and I was doing the bill on it, Quincy was talking about it, and I said, "Yeah." I said, the people named the river Geechee, like that. I said, because the name of the tribe is Geechee, like that. He said, man, you the only
Mm-hmm.
person I know that actually said it without, going into the information or putting the books and everything. I said, because I know what the tribal elders in them said. You know what I'm saying? So we
What they
started putting,
said, facts.
we started putting it out there, and then the people in them started putting out there, and it was like, oh, because you never heard nobody talking about it in 2011, 2010, 2009. You never heard nobody talking about it. But when Quincy and I put it out there, that's when everybody wants to start using it. So then when some of the Geechees in them had got it, right? So-called Gullah Geechee that's out there. Oh, it didn't come from no river. No, it didn't come from the river. It came from the people who named the river. Like I said, the people named the
Facts.
river. You can
Facts.
see the name of the people inside of the river. That's why it said Ugeechee. Ugeechee. And we know in the Hichiti language, Uki meaning water, right? Or you say Ugichi or big water, right? Or Ugichi
Big water
or
or the water
Ugichi,
people.
right? The water people.
Facts.
Kubi
Now,
Ugichi, big water
facts.
people.
Or what's even better is the Hichiti speakers were able to, they didn't change the dialect that much.
Right.
Because again, we showed you that the people were calling themselves Hogalugi or Talagualiwi, right? And Hogalugi in so many different, we can show all this different dialects. But when the Hichiti speakers got there and they heard what they heard, they translated it in their language for them.
Mm-hmm.
So when like you get what I'm saying, so it makes hopefully that makes sense for people. That
Mm-hmm.
okay, Ogeechee comes from Okiichi,
Mm-hmm.
but they were still explaining or trying to pronounce someone else's word. Then
Right.
you have Africans saying, nah, that he cheated wrong for saying Ogeechee. It's Kizzi. How you gonna tell me and it's my language? And we did that before y'all last even got here. If I was
Right.
somebody that was he cheating.
Right.
What are we doing? What are we doing? What is this? What are we really doing? The reason the Gullah Geechee corridor is going smaller and smaller and smaller is because they are telling these people they're Africans. If you are Gullah Geechee or Gullah Geechee, your ass is claiming to be African. Leave the Geechee culture alone because what you're gonna do is fuck it up for the people who family know that they're Geechees. It's been documented that they're the oldest inhabitants.
Right. So how
Not
you
the
gonna be the
second.
oldest? Look, how you gonna be the oldest? How you gonna be the
They didn't
oldest if
come
you
in the
came
1500s. The
over here?
Geechee Indians are the oldest.
Right.
This is a fact.
So you came at the so-called
But let
what the
me
transatlantic slave trade?
say it again.
But
Facts.
yet the name was
And if
over here.
we go ahead.
Right. Go ahead, nephew. I'll give you the red stick. I mean the talking stick. Go ahead.
Okay. Say what I'm saying is the name was already here hundreds of years before they claimed they got here. So what gives them rights to the name?
Hmm. Hmm.
The name was already being used for tribal people, lands, and rivers before the Atlantic slave trade. They don't see the game.
Right.
Ufaliqui, Ufaliqui, you follow. They don't see the game. Her name is Mikapali. Mikapali. Does that not sound familiar? But they changed it to Miku Pali and called her a Negro and sold her 4 separate times as an African. But the people knew her as being a chief or a Mika. So what does that say about your family? What does that say about your Geechee family that's been saying that they Indians or that they're indigenous this whole time? What can you do to liberate your family? How can you document the words of your elders to liberate your family? Is it okay to just say, you know what? I'm gonna just buy land in the territory, and eventually I'm gonna fight for the land I bought and get all mine back? Who can you unify with in order to liberate your family? These are questions that you should be asking yourself today and at this, because when grandma said, "Oh, Geechee Indian," history is documenting these Indians? Why were the Geechee Indians also considered Ufaliqui, but
Right.
also had a town named Sapala, which became Sapelo or
Or
Sapelo
Sapopa.
Island? Talk to me, cuz. Where you been at, man? Up here. Talk
I've
to
been
me.
in here the whole time listening, the whole entire time. But remember, my mic was tripping and
I
stuff.
don't want you listening, man. I need your teaching. Need your teaching, man. What we doing, man?
Man, you ain't saying nothing new. Everything that was in the southeast, they brought it to Oklahoma, like you just said. Sapelo became Sapalupa out here, which became Sapopa modern day right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
that's
Well,
around that.
somebody just said,
Um, who is
somebody just
this?
said America
I
used to be
have.
called India superior to the so of course we are Indians. No, that's not the reason why. That's not the reason why.
Nah, that definitely
I
ain't
have a
it.
question. I have a. I'm gonna make the student. Who was the people or person that called America Indian or India superior? See, that's the thing. That's the difference between this platform and a lot of platforms. I'll never get the likes and the views that other platforms get for the simple fact this is about tradition. See, I'm gonna teach you the tradition, then I'm gonna give you references. They gonna give you references with no tradition. See, India superior, both of those words are Latin. See what I'm saying? What do I mean is one word, India, comes from what and we know Hindustan, right? The
Hmm.
Hindi, but the Latin took that, made it India. Same thing with superior, right? So these are Latin. This is a Latin word that you're talking about. We didn't speak Latin, brother. You mean get that? That's how you logically get rid of that. Now, uh, if we're going to talk about Aba'a, right? Then we're talking about all of the Americas. And that's how you equate, that's how you bring things together. But what we don't do on this podcast, we don't allow non-traditionalists to be the voice of the traditional indigenous Americans. That's what we don't do. Let's see. Cause where you at, man? I've been trying to send you the link. I got this new number. I can't even matter of fact, I'm gonna drop the link. And so Reese, I wanna join. Click Reem, I need you to join, cause I could the bill going just by read. I could read something to Reem right now. I could read something to Reem and just let cuz have the screen. I'm telling you, he'll snap. But let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Got going. Let's see. You still there? Y'all
Yeah, I'm
still
still
there?
here. I'm still here. And what most people don't know is that the word America actually came from a tribe that's down there in Nicaragua because they was talking about a mountain range. That was the name of a mountain range. When the Spanish in them went down there and they saw it, they saw the name of the people, then they took it and referred it to the landmass. That's how you got the word America, which was actually Ameriquis with a Q instead of a C. That was down there in Nicaragua and all that there. Um, I wish I could
Okay.
link of the book, but they actually have a book. What's the origin of the word America? Because everybody was talking about, oh, it came from America Resvucious. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, that
Yes, yeah.
name is Italian. Yeah, the dude is Italian. You know,
Yeah.
what I'm saying? No, that was
He
named
changed his name.
right. He changed his name. You know, so yeah, it was
Yeah,
the
he
people that
changed
was
his name. Facts.
Yeah, it was named. It's the name of a mountain range. Go look it up, and they'll tell you the people of that territory named the name of that mountain. That was the name of a mountain range. So the um the Spanish and the Portuguese and them, they're the ones that took the name to name the continents America. Oh, for sure.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. For sure. Yeah. Salute. Definitely.
And they
It
went
makes
found that
sense.
and they went found that name and what they went found that name in the 1500s.
Right, because remember that map that people be showing, talking about, oh, the map say Americans and all of that shit. It's like, no, that map don't say Tamari. It's Dutch. It says Americas. So that had to be a name they got previously from somebody over here. Definitely makes sense. Definitely makes sense. So
And
this
look,
question,
and,
go ahead,
and look
talk to me.
before you do that, right? And before they started calling it America and India and all that there, they called it incognito, right? Because they didn't know what the land was.
They didn't
They got
know. Hmm.
they got a map that's called incognito because they
Say
didn't know what
incognito on it. Facts.
right. Right. So before they started doing all that, it was called incognito, and most people don't know that. But once
Yeah.
again, but that's when they say, okay, thank you for the knowledge, you're welcome. So what did we call this land? Okay, well, you got a lot of people that call this land Turtle Island, but
Di-
it didn't become known as
yeah.
Turtle Island until the invaders came.
Facts. 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 Facts.
You get a lot of
People called it many things. People definitely called it many things. Aba'a. Um and having that three or four birds, right?
right.
That's one. Some people called it Ebola, but all the land was never considered um, one name because you have so many people speaking for themselves and their culture. So it's like I said earlier, it's like I said yesterday. When you say we, right, what did we say? You have to make sure that we are the same when answering that question because you and I may not be the same, so it'll be no we. Peace, Unc. What's going on? Hold on. I'm here. We got it. Reese, what's good, family? Welcome to the platform.
What's up, man? Me and my mom was listening to it earlier, but we had to leave now. We was out eating while we was listening to it.
True,
Hence,
it's true. I know
hence,
it's Saturday. Let's see. Rahul Bhat. Greetings, greetings. Peace. It said, I understand where my family comes from. Okay, so you're from the north. Okay, true. Now, what I will say is a majority of the northern tribes did consider the land Turtle Island. Um, the men, right, as their the the men who began to come amongst those women were the ones who considered the land to be Turtle Island. But it was the land of the birds, right? There were different birds that were said to have separated the north, south, east, and west. These birds come in many forms, right? So you might have a panther with wings or a snake with wings or something like that. And eventually that changed because the Lenape or those people started to consider the land of the snakes. So at one point, the Americas was known as the land of the snakes. I want to put that out there too.
Yeah, so I have a quick question on that though. So is that where like some of these names started getting like named after snakes? So I know a lot of these like tribes like
Facts.
out west and up north, basically names
Yeah,
was
Like the Ottawa for existence, the Lenape named them the snake people, like type shit. Like you know what I'm saying? Or anybody they were going to war with, they seen as being a snake people.
Right. And
Crazy.
this is how you have the snake mound, and this is why you have the the bobo, right? Um
Yep.
Owl, right mound, right there in Panther Point, and then you have Panther Mound that's right there in Florida. It made a whole triangle.
Facts.
So basically, they was just
Yep.
coming into people's houses, fighting them, and calling them a snake.
Yeah, basically like in the Lenape creation story, the snake is an evil being, right?
That's what they
So
say.
with this, yeah,
Ain't it like
that's
a
what they
trickster
say.
god?
Um, Not really, because the snake to them is all evil. Tricksters aren't all evil, right? Um, but for the snake god, it was pure destruction. So whatever happened with the Lenape and the snakes, or the turtle and the snake, caused them to say, we need to go to the land of the snakes and destroy it. You can find this in the Walloon. So once anybody they fought in this land, they considered snakes. It's pretty weird. It's weird to us, right? But
So
we
it's basically like
understand the
their manifest
spiritual,
destiny.
like, facts. So Turtle Island comes from them. The naming the people snakes, that shit really come from them. Though we had snake clans, we didn't view people. We didn't view. You know what I'm saying? We didn't see everybody as being snakes, basically.
Right.
No. Every snakes are everywhere, so everyone has a snake story. It's like I tell people, like, when stories tend to sound familiar, it's because the cultures deal with similar animals, right? So that similar animal, if you look up animal or enemy, right? Anime, it means spirit, right? So these stories are talking about spirits that these people encountered through these different beings or these animals.
And then what people forget, you have poisonous snakes and you have non-poisonous snakes.
Fact, yeah, facts. You have constrictors. And that's all of that matters when it comes to family, right? All of that matters. But when it
Oh,
comes to the Lenape, go ahead, talk to me while I'm rolling
and
up.
just like
Go
nephew
ahead.
was saying, it all deals with family. I suggest you go and look at the video called Family Feud. You'll understand what he said when it's dealing with family. So that's a good video to check out on this platform. Family Feuds. You'll see about
Trues.
how the reptile family was fighting against one another and so forth and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Facts. Facts. That Family Feud video explains certain fights you may have daily, and certain battles you may have within your own genetic makeup. So that Family Feud video that I have, that's definitely the video to watch.
And then sometime America was also with the Wichita, right? They called it the land of the whale because they used to go hunting the blubber whales and
Mm-hmm.
everything.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so many people called it many things. You had land of the frogs. You know what I'm saying?
The land of the
So
frogs, facts.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Dealing with the Shatta, they say that is dealing with Shakashauma, which is the land of the crawfish. You know
The
what I'm saying? That's
crawfish, facts.
in Louisiana.
That's
Yeah.
why they eat a whole lot of that crawfish. It's like I think that's real important to their culture. Is crawfish and other type of seafood.
I'll,
Yeah.
I,
Animal.
I'll tell you this. You ever looked at the life cycle of the crawfish, Reese?
I forget. I know we had to do a study on it back in like elementary. We had like a whole bunch of crawfish. We had pets as and studied. And I think they live for about what I think it's like 25 years or something like that. 10 to 25 years.
A little bit longer, but yeah.
So
A little bit longer.
when you see the crawfish come out of the mud and it got the mud on its back, That's what they was explaining.
Right. That's the creation story of the land. Yeah.
I know my granny, she
Like
always
you,
loves eating crawfish and all types of other seafood. She be telling me, asking me all the time to go get her some lobster, crawfish, shrimp, or anything like that.
And not only did the crawfish come
and
out the ground, not only did the crawfish come out the ground, but he came out the mound.
yeah, it came out the mound. Facts, actual. So is what people seen in their daily lives is what told their story, right? Or
Basically.
what they
Yeah.
used to tell
Right.
their story.
Right.
So everybody got a story about a bird. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, oh, I seen a bird eat a snake, but you can see that shit anywhere. That don't
And
mean
how you
that
think that
they
became a
got the
flag of
same origin.
Mexico? How you think that became
Facts,
a flag of
yeah.
Mexico? They said they
And
followed the
that's the Aztecs, ain't it? The Aztec,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. The Aztecs went to go fight against the Mexica.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody think the bald eagle is where it's at, but actually the golden eagle is bigger than the
It's a
bald eagle.
golden eagle.
Yeah, here
Facts.
from Edo.
Actual
I,
fact.
I think a golden eagle over a bald eagle any day.
Say first time on your platform, I would look at some past catch up. Sorry to take off your original topic. Oh nah,
Oh
after
no.
we do the original topic, we get into a free build. Like we go to talk about everything. Um, so you didn't take us off topic. This is just something that we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen you. I think I seen you posting something on Facebook talking about people saying the Geechee comes from Kizzi.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's about the first time I heard that because usually when I hear they say it comes from either the Ashanti or Mandinka, somewhere in Congo or somewhere in Ghana. Yeah, every time I
Nope.
hear somebody
We
say it
got
comes from Africa, they can't keep it like consistent of where it comes from. They always like say
It'll
multiple
never
different
be.
groups
It'll
of
never
people
be.
out there.
It'll
it's
never
not
be. It will never be.
it's not Ashanti. It's not Ashanti because you got a lot of people that speak negative negatively against the movie Roots, but to say Alex Haley did plagiarize some of the book that came from the African book that the European wrote. Well, for the European to write the book about the transatlantic slave trade, he had real nations within that book that he wrote. And for him to talk about the Kizzi, to actually have the daughter named Kizzi from Kunta Kinte, right? But everybody say Kunta Kinte is
Mm-hmm.
not, but yet he had a daughter named Kizzi, Kizzi or Kissi, either or. But dealing with that, you have to ask the question, well, what does Kizzy mean? In the movie, he said the word Kizzy mean to keep still. That's what he told her. He said that's why I named you Kizzy to keep still because she was always moving around and everything and stuff. So he was telling her the story about his village and his culture and heritage and everything. Because if you remember, Kizzy mama was actually Cherokee. Her mama was
Mm-hmm.
Cherokee.
Remember them showing that too, like in the movie they was doing like the marriage ceremony, and it was like
Hey,
an
we don't know
Indian
nothing about.
woman doing it.
Yeah,
They
we
said it
don't
was
know
like
nothing
Indian
about
culture that she was doing.
Yeah, when they jumped over the
Man,
broom.
man.
And guess
Wait,
what?
wife. His wife was like, I ain't no man, Dinka. Like,
Yeah, and she said, I'm not no African. Yeah. And guess what
mm-hmm.
kind of broom they jumped over? It was called a sweet grass. Sweet grass is in the southeastern part of North America.
C4.
Yep, it was that sweet grass.
Sweet grass. Yeah, that's C4. Sweet grass and sugar got the same.
That means for the marriage to be sweet. Ha ha! Y'all ain't ready
Mm-hmm.
for that science. Y'all ain't ready for that science, but y'all can't
They
get
not.
it. You
They
heard me with
not.
huh?
That's the
What you said, nephew?
science.
What you say,
That's the
nephew?
science. I said we get to the science of it. It changed the game.
Right. Make that marriage sweet when you jump over
Shit.
that sweet grass. Make
Yeah,
it. That's what it's for.
because like Kizzy means what you say to stay put or to keep still.
Right.
That's not the same meaning as Geechee.
Right.
So how could Kizzy and Geechee be the same when I've
Mm,
showed you letters and books and proof and maps of this shit before
mm.
you even get the Kizzy coming into the Americas?
You have a lot of
Somebody
people
has to defend grandma's story.
that
Say what?
I say you still gonna have a lot of people that hear the truth and they still gonna deny it.
Hey, they could choose to be ignorant. They could choose to be ignorant all they want. But us that know, we know.
And just like we know, the pale face know.
Them people know.
They know.
That's why that's why they let these niggas have the African story.
Bingo. Bingo.
Because you can't name one indigenous tribe in Georgia that got land.
Hmm, hmm,
Not
And
one.
what I mean by that is it's theirs. Like you get what I'm saying? Ain't come you can't. But you got all of these Geechee communities that are Geechee but claiming to be African. No other nation can have land in the United States of America. Dagger. So if you claiming to be a nation from somewhere else, then you have no rights to the land that you living on, which is why they continuously come and trying to intrude on your shit. But if there was a Geechee
That's why
nation,
them
which
pyramids had to
there
come down.
is, say what, cuz?
So that's why them pyramids had to come down.
Come on, bro. We had mounds and pyramids. In Africa, they have mounds and pyramids. But when they started to knock the mounds down, when they started to knock certain pyramids down, people started to take their culture inside. When they started to, bro, they turned mound complexes into parks. So when you go play, like if you in Miami and you go to any park in Miami, they have a national reserve around the pine trees. Bro, if you burn the pine tree in Miami, your stupid ass is going to jail, bro.
hmm. Yeah, dealing with the can. And the can is right there in Ghana, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Yeah, I hope I can shed some light on the Kizzi in reference to our language of the can the Kizzi is speaking about in the name of the people. Also, this name was grafted into the can. Yeah, which is right there in West Africa.
Okay, okay.
Right.
At least for me, when I was always growing up, when I asked, like her mom, Georgia, and that's where we get our name from. Is from down there. They said we mixed in with some Africans, that we have some connection over to Africa, but they said we were always Indians. They ain't never said we came from somewhere else and then adapted the name.
You see
But what
that?
people
What? Go ahead. Pardon me.
what people don't fail to realize, it was more African men that was brought over than African women from West Africa. This is why they had the mating plantation or the breeding plantation, because they was taking the African man and breeding him with the indigenous women of the Americas. That's what happened.
That's literally what happened in Roots. They made Kunta uh, go be
You go
with
sleep with that American woman.
yeah, bro. And Kunta, remember at first Kunta wouldn't even touch her. He said, I ain't gonna make no baby here in this land and be no slave. Man.
Yeah, because that would happen. Um, they wanted her to be with the old man because she liked the old man, right? But the old man, he used to be a breeder, but since he was too old to breed anymore, they was like, well, we got a new buck, and that was Kunta Kinte. So they was sending Kunta Kinte at her, and she was like, okay. So she went at Kunta, and Kunta didn't want to do it because he was in love with Belle. You know what I'm saying? But all along, the young lady who is an indigenous woman ran off with the old man. That's when him and Bill wound up getting married. So that right there was showing you where you had an African man that got with an American woman and had a child. Same thing down here in Louisiana when you had Indians who was enslaved and you also had Africans that was bought. When they had a child, the child would be called a griff, which is Grif. That was the name down here in New Orleans, or better yet, on the um in the river parishes. Okay, so they didn't call them no mulatto or no quattroon or no octoroon. They call them a griff. A griff is when they had an Indian mama and an African father, and that was way before they started saying there was mulatto or quattroon or anything. Y'all can look that word up, griff, Grif. Oh, and I'm loving this fucking bill.
Ain't nothing new. Mm-mm.
So now you know we've been telling y'all for the longest that the Geechee is not African, but it's indigenous to the Americas.
Yep.
We saying that. And we not shitting on the Africans, we just setting the record straight. That's all. Because we love the admixtures. The admixtures help us to eat motherfucking corn better.
Heck no. Facts.
You
We
know?
survived because of admixtures. So ain't
Right.
nobody shitting on admixture, but we just understand where things were separated or where things hadn't come together yet. I put it that way.
Look, nephew, you know what's so funny? It's like when I take my puppies um to the vet, they say, mixed dogs live longer than full breeds. And I
No,
learned
let's
this
hear
in
though.
the 80s. I learned this in the 80s. They say, yeah, they say half breeds live longer than full breeds. Because they say full breeds have a lot of complications, you know. But if you got a mixed breed will live for a long time.
I remember looking that up after you told me that.
And what
That's
it
like
said,
something.
nephew, when you looked it up. What it said when you looked it up.
Hold on, I think we glitching. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What you found when you looked it up, nephew?
Oh
What
no,
you
it's
found?
we're not. I must say having some type of trouble. But yeah, I definitely remember looking that up after he shared that with me. Let's
And
see. Do
what you
we
found?
have any questions? Um
What it said when you
in the
found it, nephew?
comments. My phone about to die. I'm on 1%. So if there are any questions, I say this. Please save them for me tomorrow. Southeastern Talking Podcast with Christina and Alpha. We'll be talking about the original inhabitants of Georgia. So be
And this
tuned
gonna
in
be and
tomorrow.
this gonna be
Other
on
than
there
that,
too, nephew.
please
You
be
heard me?
safe and enjoy y'all Saturday. I'll see y'all next week.